RJ Barrett is easily the best young player on the Knicks. Coming out of Duke as the number 3 pick, the Knicks had high hopes that he would become an all-star, and he has gotten better every year that he's been in the league, but he hasn't made the all-star leap yet the Knicks were hoping he would make. The guys that were taken right ahead of him, Zion Williamson and John Morant, both have become all-stars and just received their max extension. And Darius Garland, who was taken 2 picks after RJ, also made the all-star team last season and just got his max extension. But just because RJ Barrett didn't make the all-star team in his 3rd season doesn't mean he can't eventually become one. Some guys don't make it until their 4th or 5th year. Jaylen Brown of the Celtics didn't make his first all-star team until his 5th year. Jimmy Butler, who many would consider a superstar, didn't make it until his 4th year. Hell, Julius Randle didn't make his first all-star team on the Knicks until his 7th season in the NBA. The point is, some guys are late bloomers and need some more time than others in order to finally reach that elite level. RJ Barrett has definitely showed all-star potential, but he also has a lot of areas in his game that he needs to get better at. So in this video, let's review what RJ did last season, and let's look at all the areas that he needs to improve in order to make that all-star leap. But before we continue, I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so please, if you enjoy the content, please like the video and hit that subscribe button. Before we discuss where RJ needs to improve, let's review last season. RJ averaged 20.6 boards and 3 assists per game on just 41% shooting from the field. But I don't think these numbers tell the whole story. Because if you watched the Knicks last season, you notice that there were 2 different versions of RJ. RJ played 70 games last year. In the first 20 games, he averaged 13 points per game on just 36% shooting from the field and 29% from 3. He was really struggling and couldn't hit the side of a barn. From January to the end of the season, RJ looked like a completely different player. In his last 50 games, he averaged 22 points per game on 41% shooting from the field and 35% from 3. As we can see, RJ scored a high amount of points, but he was pretty inefficient. The main reason RJ was able to score so many points is his ability to get to the rim. RJ isn't the fastest player, but he's fast enough to regularly get by his man and into the paint. On the season, RJ averaged 7 field goal attempts within 5 feet of the basket, which ranked 15th in the entire league. This is very impressive for just a 21-year-old. This means that RJ is able to get to the rack at the same rate as the league's premier players. But on the downside, RJ shot just 52% within 5 feet of the basket. So RJ gets to the rim a lot, but he finishes at a low percentage when he gets there. RJ isn't a freak athlete like someone like Anthony Edwards, so he can't just rise over defenders for easy dunks. He needs to get a lot more crafty so he can finish over the second line of defense. Another strength of RJ's game is drawing contact on his drives. Once again, RJ was one of the league leaders in free throw attempts per game. He took 6 free throw attempts per game, which ranked 17th in the entire league, but only shot 71% from the free throw line, which is pretty bad. As we can see from these stats, RJ has potential to be a great slasher. He gets to the rim easily and he draws a lot of contact, but he needs to be a lot more efficient. RJ needs to get his free throw percentage up to at least 80%, and his finishing within 5 feet should be at least 60%. Now let's talk about jump shooting. RJ started off the year shooting horribly from the outside, but he got better as the year went on. RJ shot 37% on catch and shoot 3-pointers this season, which is pretty good, but that's also down from last year when he shot 41% on his catch and shoot 3s. His catch and shoot 3s were good, but his pull-up 3s were bad. RJ only shot 25% on his pull-up 3s last season. RJ also needs to develop a mid-range game. He only shot 33% on shots from 10 to 14 feet last season, which is pretty bad. If RJ could develop a solid mid-range game, it would make him a much more dangerous scorer. When you look at some of the superstar wing players in today's game, whether it's Jimmy Butler, DeMar DeRozan, or Devin Booker, they're all good at generating shots for themselves in the mid-range. RJ has shown he can get to those spots on the floor, but he's yet to show he can knock them down on a consistent basis. Another area of RJ's game that needs to improve is his playmaking. RJ did average 3 assists per game last year, but for a player that handled the ball and took as many shots as he did, that's pretty low. RJ averaged 17 field goal attempts per game last season. Because he's a slasher, RJ could easily be a 5 assists per game type of player, but he needs to be more willing to move the ball on his drives. He's shown he can do it, but RJ is mostly looking to score when he gets into the paint. If he becomes a more willing passer, it would not only make him a better player, but he would make his teammates better by setting them up for easy baskets. Another strength of RJ's game is his defense. He's got nice size at 6'7" with a 6'10" wingspan, and he's got a strong frame which allows him to defend multiple positions on the court. He's a very good on-ball defender, and he's shown plenty of times that he can guard the premier wing players in the league and do a solid job. Overall, his defense is definitely above average, but it did take a dip this year as his responsibility on offense increased. RJ has potential to be an elite defender, but he definitely needs to be more consistently locked in. Lastly, let's talk about RJ's outlook for next season. The potential for RJ to become an all-star is there, but that's going to depend on if his shooting and finishing improves. RJ isn't lacking in confidence, and he has a strong work ethic, so there's no doubt in my mind that he's aware of his weaknesses and is working to improve them. If RJ can become an efficient finisher, free throw shooter, and playmaker, he could be the consistent all-star that the Knicks want him to be. But anyway guys, that's going to be the end of the video. Can RJ make the all-star leap next season? Tell me in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like on it and hit that subscribe button. RJ's backcourt partner Jalen Brunson can end up being a great fit alongside him. So click this video to see why Brunson will be a great fit on the Knicks.